Male lion marked with dense scar tissue manages territory through presence pressure. A giraffe, with radar-level visibility from 16 feet above ground, must lower its center of gravity. In doing so, it exposes the cervical vertebrae within operational range of specialized predator units. The cheetah is not a typical large cat. Within the Serengeti ecosystem, it represents extreme specialization. If the lion embodies brute force and the leopard operates as a tactical specialist, the cheetah functions as a biological projectile optimized for one objective: explosive speed. Every parameter of its body reduces load. A lightweight skeletal frame lowers total mass. Non-retractable claws act as traction spikes, gripping the dry surface of the Mara River basin. The spine functions as a tension spring. Each stride can extend up to 23 feet. This specialization includes severe trade-offs. The cheetah does not possess bone-crushing jaws or heavy defensive muscle layers. When movement stops, it becomes one of the most vulnerable carnivores in its class. On the savannah, energy is the highest value currency. The cheetah spends it at maximum rate. Each sprint burns nearly all stored calories. Hunting behavior does not operate on impulse. It follows strict survival calculation.
The ideal activation distance is 330 feet. If the starting gap exceeds this range, the cheetah remains still to conserve reserves.
If too far, the cooling system reaches overload before contact. If too close, the prey detects risk and eliminates acceleration advantage. Stillness represents risk management. A flawed launch creates an unrecoverable calorie debt. When all variables align, attack mode activates. Within the first 3 seconds, speed reaches 60 miles per hour. This acceleration neutralizes resistance from a Thompson gazelle at the starting phase. The primary obstacle is not speed, it is movement vector. The cheetah is engineered for linear motion. Gazelles evolved for rapid zigzag direction change. Each abrupt turn increases core temperature sharply. The cooling system has limited efficiency. When blood temperature exceeds 105 degrees Fahrenheit, the brain initiates shutdown to prevent physiological overheating. If the target endures beyond 30 seconds, the cheetah exits the hunt cycle due to exhaustion. After the sprint, the cheetah enters its most vulnerable state. It requires at least 20 minutes to lower core temperature to safe range. During this window, lions or hyenas frequently seize the carcass. The cheetah cannot engage in conflict. Any structural injury permanently removes maximum speed capability. The genetic design functions as a double-edged system. Cub mortality reaches 90% due to fragile body structure under environmental pressure. The cheetah does not dominate through force. It survives within narrow gaps of the system by selecting the correct moment and executing it with precision. In its world, accuracy is not optional. It is the only access to another day of survival. In Serengeti National Park, the leopard does not operate as a permanent owner. Every biological advantage it possesses, from near total concealment to powerful shoulder muscles, serves a single purpose. That purpose is risk management. After the target has been brought down. For the leopard, killing the prey is not the most dangerous phase. Real pressure begins the moment the prey's heart stops. In an environment with constant density of scavengers and apex predators such as lions, a carcass becomes a concentration point of mechanical risk. The leopard does not survive by killing efficiently. It survives by extending the time it can retain a meal before larger forces compel withdrawal. Food for this species is a temporary asset. It does not hunt only to gain energy. It hunts to purchase additional survival time. No carcass, regardless of how well concealed, is ever fully secure. The most characteristic behavior is moving the kill upward. The physical reality is direct. Climbing a tree is not victory. It is delay. Dragging a 132-pound antelope to a height of 16 feet does not eliminate all threats. It reduces the number of opponents that can access the carcass immediately. Each vertical foot requires a large expenditure of muscular energy. The leopard executes a trade. Stored energy is exchanged for temporary safety. What it requires is time. The cost is biological exhaustion. In Serengeti, the longest surviving individual is not necessarily the most effective killer. It is the one that understands when to leave. All hunting effort becomes irrelevant if the post-kill interval is not controlled. In the natural system, the ability to abandon is the highest expression of survival instinct. Every hunt by the spotted hyena, Crocuta crocuta, begins while the target remains mechanically intact. A 551-pound wildebeest still retains full counterforce capability, with sufficient strength to control muscle groups and select movement direction. No bite has occurred. No blood has been spilled. Yet, the process of system collapse has already been initiated. For hyenas, the objective is not a rapid kill. The objective is sustained erosion until the prey can no longer remain upright. Hyenas enter the scene not as direct attackers, but as constant background pressure. They maintain a distance close enough to deny recovery, yet far enough to avoid triggering an early fight or flight response. Under this pressure, the prey alters behavior involuntarily. It runs faster than required. It stops abruptly. It changes direction repeatedly. Each minor adjustment results in significant caloric loss. In natural systems, prolonged presence by hyenas produces greater lethality than any single act of violence. As energy reserves reach minimum thresholds, neural processing begins to degrade. The prey selects suboptimal running paths. Reaction time slows in response to terrain variation, such as depressions or water channels. Biological precision is stripped away by exhaustion. An organism evolved for escape now violates its own survival parameters under accumulated pressure. In the terminal phase, the target is not defeated by brute force. It collapses because biological systems cease operation. When hind limb muscles are immobilized by lactic acid accumulation and circulation reaches structural failure, the prey becomes stationary. Life persists, but motor control is lost. In the Serengeti, hyenas are specialists in exhaustion management. They do not overcome opponents with strength. They overcome them with time. In the world of African wild dogs, Lycaon pictus, the concept of a single individual does not exist. There is no strongest, fastest, or most aggressive animal that dominates. All survival value emerges only within formation. An individual separated from the pack faces an almost absolute risk of death. Here, the story has no main character. The main character is the system. Operation begins with maintaining maximum contact density. Wild dogs move in tight clusters and rest at minimal distances. No action originates from unilateral commands by a leader. Behavior forms through repeated actions and distinctive vocal signals. When the number of individuals in agreement reaches a critical threshold, the entire system shifts state. There is no spontaneous hunt. An attack cycle occurs only when the entire mechanism is synchronized and ready. During attack, wild dogs do not require stealth approach or rapid killing strikes. Their strategy is to break the defensive capacity of the target by diversifying threat vectors. The prey, often an impala weighing 110 pounds, is pushed into cognitive overload. It cannot identify a single focal point for defense. When the opponent loses the ability to select an effective defensive direction, the wild dog system begins to tighten containment. True strength lies in the rotation mechanism. During extended pursuit, any individual reaching fatigue threshold automatically withdraws. Immediately, another individual with higher energy assumes the lead position. System performance never declines, even as components are expended. The prey confronts an entity that maintains full operational energy. Meanwhile, its own oxygen capacity diminishes each second. The outcome results from cumulative overlap of small actions that are continuous and unrelenting. When the target collapses, consumption order is enforced by biological priority rules. Juveniles and weaker individuals receive access to protein first. This mechanism preserves genetic continuity and maintains system numbers. Wild dogs do not rely on vocal dominance displays. This error-free coordination is what compels all competitors in the Serengeti to yield space. This collective lifestyle carries severe cost. Wild dogs are entirely dependent on the network. Loss of connection equals loss of everything. The system self-regulates by eliminating individual risk. Any member that disrupts formation or reduces performance is removed. Despite achieving the highest hunting success rate on the plains, reaching up to 80%, pressure from larger competitors and disease constantly threatens to erase entire units. In the Serengeti, wild dogs demonstrate that strength does not originate from exceptional individuals. They persist because no single component is allowed to outweigh the pack. In nature, survival sometimes requires elimination of self to become part of a greater machine.